guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm gonna show you how I use my Silhouette Portrait 3 to cut out my petals for my wafer paper flowers. Ever since investing in this guy, it has saved me so much time trying to cut out my petals, and you know, I wish the same for you. That's why I'm doing this video. I'm gonna show you how easy it is to operate this entire machine and what are the things to look out for when using it. Remember to watch all the way to the end to see how I store my petals as well. Okay, so every machine comes with a cutting mat over here, as you can see, with a blue sticker sheet on top to protect the stickiness of the mat. For mine, I actually added on 4 masking tapes at 4 corners of the mat, and the reason why is because if I were to place my wafer paper on the cutting sheet, as you can see here, which is pretty sticky, my wafer paper ended up sticking on the mat and I had such a hard time trying to remove it, so don't make the same mistake as I did. I kept the blue sticker sheet on and I just placed my wafer paper on top of it instead. I used 4 masking tapes to tape down the 4 corners of my wafer paper so it doesn't move when my machine is cutting it. We're gonna press down and hold the on-off button to switch on the machine. And this is how we load up our cutting mat. So you see this arrow over here, it appears on both sides, so it doesn't really matter which side you use as long as the wafer paper aligns with the horizontal line on top. When loading up the cutting mat, you want to make sure that you see these 2 white rollers on each end. You want to make sure that your cutting mat and your wafer paper goes below the roller so that it keeps the paper in place while the machine is cutting. Then we're going to hit our load button to initiate our first load. And here's a close-up to show you how it's loaded. Once the first load is done, I'm going to jump over to our Silhouette Studio program to show you how to operate it and to do the cut. This is how your Silhouette Studio program looks like when you first open it. We're going to go ahead to click File on the top left hand corner, and we're going to go open up some SVG files so that the program can read and cut it. So this is a list of my Peonies SVG files. You can find these files on my learning school, and I'll put the link in the description box below. So I'm just going to open up S2 Peony Petals, and this is how it looks like when I first open it. It's kind of slanted to the right, so I'm just going to drag and pull everything and shift it slightly to the center. As you can see, it doesn't really matter if it's black or white over here, as long as you know when you click on each petal, they show individual petals. So once that's done, you'll see 4 tabs on top, Design, Store, Library, and Send. We are on the Design tab now, so once this is done, we're going to go ahead to the Send tab. And this is a preview of your petals before the machine cuts it. The red line indicates the cutout that the machine is going to go over for your petals. So just make sure that every individual petals has this red line going over it. Now on the right side of the screen, you'll see this little menu over here that says Material, Action, and Tool. So Material, will just leave it as cardstock plain. For Action, usually I go with Score. Some of my students go with cut and auto cut, and doesn't really matter. I go with Score because I like how it just makes a very light cut on top of the paper. Tool wise, it always just detects the auto blade that you have. For blade depth, I'm going with 2. For the force, I'm going with 22, and the speed, I'm going with 8. So this is just kind of like my preferred, default settings. Please go ahead and try out what works best for you and your machine. Sometimes when the blade gets older, you have to kind of switch up these settings just a little bit. And then right now at the bottom, you'll see that I've actually connected my machine to this program already, so it shows a green tick. Load media, which we have already done. So the last step is to go ahead and click Send, and the machine will go ahead and cut your wafer paper. And this is really where the magic begins. So you can just go ahead and let the machine do the job, or you can go ahead and do something else. When I first started using the machine for the first time, I actually got a shock at how loud the machine was. So just a heads up in case you don't know, this is what you should be expecting. There's nothing wrong with the machine, it is just the way it is. Okay, so the machine is making its last few cuts now, and once it's done, it's just gonna go ahead and roll out like that. Hit the unload button to roll it out. Let's check out how our cut went. So if I were to just lift it up, you'll see that I can just go ahead and put my finger below just to see and pop one guy out. Because I went with the score option, so it actually just did a very light cut on top of the paper, and of course I have to then go ahead and pop all my petals out. So that's one down. I'm gonna go ahead and remove my masking tape, take it out of the cutting mat, and then this is where the second part of the fun begins. We're just gonna go ahead and pop out all the petals that the machine has cut for us. Now these are all my petals that I've popped out. I'm gonna place it here, and you can see all these remaining parts of my wafer paper. None of this goes to waste because I'm gonna keep it inside a Ziploc bag, because I'm gonna make my wafer paper glue out of this extra wafer paper or some wafer paper textures out of it, so nothing goes to waste. This is a close-up of the petals cut out. As you can see, the cuts are really clean. I think the machine did a great job, something that I will never be able to achieve just by using my hands to do manual cuts. For petals like peonies, you can see there are also a lot of teething and details, so choosing the machine to do the cut is the best option I can go for. Here are all my peony petal cutouts, and this is just me trying to do a TikTok transformation of how my peonies came about. Of course, it doesn't happen just like that, but if you want to learn how to make these peonies, you can actually head to my online school and I have a class on it. This is a peony that I've done recently with a student in class, and I really love the soft cream color, so here's a close-up. And as promised, this is usually how I keep my petals. I got this box from our local craft store, which has different sections, and it's really great for me to categorize all my different sizes of peony petals. So I've just gone ahead and cut out S2, so this is going into my S2 column. And once that's done, I am then going to go ahead and close the lid and then keep it in a cool and dry environment. If you're interested to get the digital files for any of the cutouts, you can go ahead and check out my online school. They fall under the tab here called the DXF and SVG templates. So I have all the different flowers cutouts here, and let's head to the next page and maybe hit on peony since we just did that. So this is how it looks like. It's just $10 per flower, and to be honest, $10 to save so much of your time, I think it's totally worth it. These are how the petals will look like as you've seen in the demonstration just now. So all done for you, plug and play, literally just it, upload and then hit send. So well, yeah, no more manually cutting because yes, you have better things to do. So yep, imagine cutting 100 petals in 10 minutes. Efficiency is really what we're looking for here. So if you want, just go ahead and press this button over here and it will lead you to the checkout page. And since we're on this page, let's check out some of the beautiful peonies that our students have done. This is by Samantha over here, and then if you scroll down, this is by Joy. Love all the peonies. Another one by Samantha, one by Jessica, last one by Rosetta, and I have so much more. And what I love about this is that you can see how everybody takes the same class, but the way they do their peonies are all different because everybody has a unique style and voice. And that's why I always emphasize that there is no competition because everyone is uniquely themselves. Again, if you'd like to learn how to make this fluffy, gorgeous peony, you can check out the link in the description box below. And thank you so much for joining me on this video. I hope it has been helpful for you in making the decision to buy or not buy a machine, because honestly, that was my biggest barrier before I get this machine. So I hope this helps. Let me know if you'd like me to talk about anything else, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!